Hey guys, this is a deck profile for the locals first place. I'm running Bar Door Danmachi with green red. Starting off the level 0 lineup, we have the level 0 Ryu. She is an on-play Riki, and when you attack with her, you can look at the top two and choose which card you want to trigger. It helps you just prevent getting cards you need stuck in stock early on. Next card we're going to look at is the Hestia and Bell level 0. This is added into the deck mostly because the level 0 game for this deck is rather weak, so having a card that has a higher power count and an on-death effect will really helps out this deck grab what it needs early on. We're only running 2 of the level 0 bells. Their first effect isn't very useful for our level 0 since our level 0 cards aren't as powerful as most deck profiles. So these are mostly used later game to help get our level 2 bells on board. Next is one of my favorite cards of the deck, is the level 0 Hermes. He has an on-play effect where he can choose a trait of a selected character on your opponent's board and remove it for the rest of that turn. You can also pay 1 and send him to memory and top check 3 cards and add 1 character to hand. This helps you just mill through your deck and get cards in your hand while also keeping yourself a little bit memory compressed. Next we'll look at the Climax Swapper. We have to run 2 because this deck relies entirely on experience. So having 2 of these will help us just prevent a situation where we're at level 3 and we can't use our Climax combo. Next we'll look at the back row for zeros. We're running the Hestia Climax combo. It's between this and the yellow Finn, but even though we don't run any events in this deck, the Hestia it's better for this deck because most of our stuff is coming from deck anyway. And bringing on to our next back row, the Seer will help us salvage from waiting room anyway, which will give us access to both our deck and waiting room, depending on what you need. Moving on to level 1, we're running 4 of the Ryu Climax combo on bar. What this does is when we attack with our Ryu and the Climax is in its area, we can discard any card into the waiting room, look at up to 3 cards from the top of our deck, and add 3 characters to hand. This helps us mill through our deck while also helping refresh all of our Climaxes into our next deck. It also helps just fill up your hand with everything that you could possibly need. Getting off the level 1 Ryu is important, but not incredibly necessary if you can't do it. That's because we're also running this level 1 Bell. He has a chance to rest himself when he gets reversed if you reveal a level 2 or higher when he gets reversed. This will help us just keep some board advantage and plus off of just having him there. And we run a lot of level 2s and higher anyway, so he's most likely going to hit that. We're running this level 1 as a back row support as well, because he just gives a global 1k at level 1, and then once you hit level 3, it's a global 2k on your turn. So he just having him early on is very helpful for beating over most decks. And as a one-of, we are running the Hestia Anti-Change. Considering we're grabbing a lot of characters off of our level 1 Climax combo, it won't be too hard to pull this off once you get to level 2 if you can get it in hand. Moving on to level 2, we are running our 4 Argonaut Bells. These guys get very big all the time. They stay at 11k, and since they're level 2s, they can't be targeted by anti-change counters or whatever early play killers that your opponent might have. It's very uncommon for your main damage dealer to be a level 2, so he can usually stay on board for pretty long, and if something does beat over him, he does have Hand Encore, but the entire time he will be sitting at 11k, which is usually too big for most decks to handle. And as another one of, we are running the level 2 backup for Ryu. She is just a 3500 backup on level 2. It helps you get over something that would otherwise be very difficult to get over your next turn. Moving on to the level 3s, we have 3 of the Seers. These are mostly your targets for experience. They're not too useful late game because of our level 1 bells that assist, but having her on board helps for cross turn, and she also has a way to search your deck for a character if you really need it. But for the most part, these will be your experience targets. The other level 3 that we're running, main level 3 that we're running, is the level 3 Ryu. She is also an experience target, but she's your off finisher. If you're having a hard time getting your level 2 Bell to be able to get his finisher off, you just play her, and if you have the characters in hand, you clock shot your opponent. So it's a guaranteed 1 damage. She also gets pretty big by herself. By herself, she gets to 11,500, which is already pretty good. With the assists, she can get even bigger. And just to put her over the top, we're also running the Trial Deck Hestias. She is a spawner that will pump the Ryu. Well, ideally you'd want to pump the Ryu the 2k by playing her for free. She also has a way to refresh both players by discarding a character. That's not... You won't be using this card very often. Since we're not running much blue, the opportunity doesn't come up that much. But it does help when you're in that situation where you have blue and you really need to get over something. It gives you that little push that you might need to get her over. And that is the red-green Danmachi deck profile. Thanks.